Good morning, friends. Welcome to Jeannie's Journey. Today, we are in Numbers 12. We pick up from where in Numbers 11, God had given the elders some of the Holy Spirit from Moses and gave it to them so that he could help the Israelites in the desert because Moses was becoming overwhelmed. So today's title is God Defends the Humble. So rebellion strikes from within Moses' immediate family and inner circle. Sorry. So verses 1 through 3, spiritual jealousy. So Miriam, which is Moses' older sister, she's the one who watched him float as a baby in the Nile to Pharaoh's daughter. And Aaron, Moses' older brother, criticized Moses because of his Cushite wife. To criticize means to give help or feedback, but not to attack their character. And a lot of times when I hear the word criticize, I feel like it's attacking my character. So it's really not supposed to be that. It's to give some type of feedback that's going to say, okay, I see what you mean, and maybe change something. Helpful feedback, not hurtful feedback. So obviously a Cushite is from the land of Cush, which when I searched it, is frequently translated as Ethiopia. In ancient times, it was a powerful African state that traded and interacted heavily with ancient Egypt. This could be support, could be another wife. When I was trying to look up, okay, I knew he married Zipporah, when he left Egypt on his own, and he ran into Jethro, and Zipporah was Jethro's daughter. But it doesn't say for sure. So Miriam and Aaron were high-ranking spiritual leaders within the camp itself. Miriam was recognized as a prophetess, and she's the one who led people in worship after they crossed through the Red Sea. Aaron was the high priest. He was the top dog in the tabernacle, the spiritual head of the sacrificial system. The critique that they had given Moses, he said, look, he's got a Cushite wife. It quickly shifts from his marriage to Moses' special relationship with God, because it says that in this first 3 verses, it says, has the Lord only spoken through Moses? Hasn't he also spoken through us? So first he said, look at this, him and his Cushite wife. He said, well, doesn't the Lord speak to us? So these statements were not helpful. The issue was not that they're concerned for him marrying a Cushite wife. It's jealousy, pride, and a desire for equal authority. Moses was the clear chosen leader of Israel. Because God spoke to them in the past, they felt their spiritual authority was invisible, because the spotlight was always on Moses. Him and God talked, actually talked. Went up to the mountain, and with God's finger, they came out with the laws. And Moses was very humble. More in the Bible, it says Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth. And Moses did have a bad temper, but he was also a humble man. God sees beyond our words. He knows if it is rooted in pride, envy, or comparison. God will defend those who will not defend themselves, and he will step in for his children. Verses 4 through 9 is face to face. So God's like, what did they just say? So God calls Moses, Aaron, and Miriam to the tabernacle and tells them that he speaks to prophets through dreams and visions. But him and Moses have a different type of relationship. He speaks to him face to face, not in riddles. He asked Miriam and Aaron, why weren't you afraid to speak against him, knowing this, special relationship that we had? And the Lord became angry. and burned against Miriam and Aaron, and he left them because he presented himself to him in a pillar of cloud. And so when he's like, why weren't you even afraid to say anything? And said he got mad, and the cloud left. God appoints his leaders according to his purposes. Attacking God's appointed servants without cause is an offense against God. Criticism must come from reverence of God, not pride or jealousy. God protects those who faithfully serve him. Jesus is the Son of God. He is God in the flesh. Verses 10 through 12. When that cloud leaves, Miriam is struck with leprosy. She appears white as snow. That's what my version says. Aaron sees and he says to Moses, please don't hold this sin against us. And since Miriam and Aaron, don't hold the sin against them. And since Miriam and Aaron were not afraid to talk about Moses at the time, they were questioning God's sovereign placement and authority without holy fear. Again, he will defend you. So Aaron says, please don't hold this against us. Please don't hold this against us. And Moses then intercedes. He begs God to heal her. God heals her, but there is a consequence. She has to be shut outside the camp for 7 days in accordance with the law of purification. That was way back when I was telling you that if it's leprosy, then, the priest has to go and check to see if it is something that is contagious. And then he comes back 7 days to see if that person's healed. Being isolated outside the camp was not a punishment. It was to protect them as well as to protect the others. All those people camping close together if you have something contagious. But she had been shut outside the camp for 7 days in accordance with the law of purification before Israel can march. So it delays their time to the promised land. So sometimes when we do something that's not right, it's a domino effect. It affects, other people around us. Sin and division halts spiritual progress. And that's true, as a teacher, when I walk the kids down for lunch, I wait for every single person to be in line, to face the front, and to be quiet, because that's how I roll. And if one person continues to act up, the entire class, we wait until he can get his life together, or she, whoever it may be. So my reflection is definitely something that I didn't think I was going to write today, because I had written these a couple days ago, and I was on a roll, but something happened and I fell off that roll, so I'm coming back. But it's based off of something that happened last night. Sometimes when I read the Bible, I'm amazed at how real the reactions of people are in the Bible. Like, they were real people. They had feelings. They were just like us. They were sinful. They were doubters, questioners, weak, and they had fear. We all experience those things. This book, this book of books, is to help us know God in a personal way. It is to help us realize we are never alone, and we are loved immensely by Him. It is to help us learn to lean on Him in our desires when we think about our Egypts, our sorrow, and to find hope while we're still in the desert. Last night I ran into one of Alex's many, many friends. And then I contacted another when I got home. I want to thank them. Thank you, two ladies. To the one that came up to me, just greeted me and reminded me who she was, because, I'm old and I can't remember. Anyway, but thank you to both of you for remembering the wonderful and funny, kind person my son is, instead of whatever Egypt he's in. It's a wonderful thing to distinguish between the real person someone is than the person in their Egypt. This morning, right before I did this video, wrote this reflection here. And through my tears, I thank God for the tears that were shed last night, as well as this morning. He reminds me that even though heartbroken, I can still depend on him. He is forever faithful. He holds my heart and catches every tear. And he gives me hope that this certain circumstance that I'm in is not the end. It's not the end of the story. Because I know that one day I will no longer cry tears of sorrow, but they will be tears of joy. I know that's going to happen. Peace and blessings. I love you. Bye.